Hello and welcome to Master Manual, the unofficial and irresponsible guide for DMs, GMs, and just wanna BMs, and other folks too. This is a podcast where we answer questions and talk about role-playing games such as Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, mostly from the DM perspective, but from the player one too. I'm Spencer Crittenden, and I'm sitting here with my friend...
Cohen Edenfield. I
Hell
love
yeah.
that intro. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, we're in business.
Hell yes, I love it. It rose so naturally.
I feel like it would be bad if we were polished off the bat, but fucking around and failing for 2 episodes.
Yeah, plus all the ones we didn't release.
Right. Well, we'll release.
Yeah, for the
Patreon.
the upper tier boys.
Oh. Now, it,
80 a month.
I was kind of ambivalent on maybe doing a Patreon for this, but if we could call it Upper Tier Boys, I'm definitely sold.
Okay,
Like,
BOIS.
upper Tier Boys is just like, we should pitch Upper Tier Boys to something.
Yeah. How about Wizards?
Okay, Wizards, we got a game for you. We call it Upper Tier Boys. You play as privileged.
Well, no, you play. You're not the upper tier boys. They're the enemy.
Okay.
I think.
Oh yeah, you gotta overthrow the Upper Tier Boys.
Yeah, you gotta
You're on the lower tier.
cast them down. Yeah, I mean that's the story. Or you start as an upper tier boy, are cast down, learn the ways of the lower tier boys, and then you fight for them.
Right.
I was like, what movie is that? And then I remembered it's every fucking movie ever made.
So we're gonna delete that and re-record the podcast so you can't steal that idea. It's original content. Please do not steal.
Huge bleeps over everything.
So this is Master Manual.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
What do you got? What? So yeah, you guys know who we are. If you've been listening, if you don't, we play D&D sometimes and other games.
Yeah.
But what have you been doing?
Let's see. What have I been doing? I played D&D the other night.
Oh yeah, were you playing or mastering?
I was playing. It was great. It was
That's fun.
First
I
time.
missed that.
First time in a while. We had just had a big, the big battle that it was neat. There was like a 7 samurai. We had like several set up episodes, like going to fight this dungeon. And
Well, set
the
the stage for us. What's happening? What's the
okay.
storyline? Kind of.
It's kind of a low. It's kind of like a low stress kind of. What am I looking for here? It was described as Princess Bride. Is kind of the setting where it's so we're like the champions. We started at level 3. Everybody is always talking about how great we are. But are we yet? We're fine.
You got big shoes to fill.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course the plot unfolds that actually all the former champions have been killed and all this neat stuff. Yeah. So we were sent to help this town, and the town's like, oh yeah, we're going to be attacked by this other town that's evil. And then there was like a multi-stage. Okay, we're going to be attacked from 2 different fronts by these bandits to the south and this army to the north. So we had to go clear out the bandits to the south. Then we come back and we're sort of gathering resources and assets and getting close to the people in the town. And then there was really neat execution of here's the cards, here's the I'm gonna hold on, I'm gonna bring up the thing real quick.
Have you ever? Oh, I was going to ask you if you've ever been to Fogo de Chao, but you don't eat meat, huh?
What?
I've been going to this place called Fogo de Chao.
I haven't.
It's a meat place.
I have not.
It's like they serve non-meat, but it's like it's not a non-meat place.
It's our DM's name is Richard Molina Weber.
Mm-hmm.
He is at RMALENA on Twitter.
Don't harass him.
Don't. I'm just mentioning it because he sells. He's put up the first section of our adventures on the DM. What is the word I'm looking for?
The DM's Guild, right?
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get it there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know every time we give out a Twitter address, we normally want you to harass them.
Don't.
But not this guy. This guy's
Rich
good.
is like the sweetest guy in the world.
But any other time we mention a
Yeah.
Twitter account, definitely.
So it was neat because we had this huge build up, and then we had like a couple of sessions of the actual. We went and killed one guy, and then we had like one session that was just the whole battle, and then this is the session after, and it was great because we're back to our original Crown City where we're from. There was no combat for like 2 hours, which was what I was in the mood for.
Yeah.
It was just a sequence of, and it was great because it started in the it was this sequence of a plot hook for every character that started in the castle where my character's dad was, and he was like, here's some stuff going on, you need to learn how to become a better mage or whatever. And then as we're going down the street, it's leading to each person's plot hook, and it was just all like role-playing and conversation, social stuff, and it was just exactly what everybody needed. And
it wasn't, no one was dominating time, or it felt even.
Yeah, it's a really good group.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good group.
That's great. Yeah, so that's what you've been doing. I've just been going to Untitled Chapter.
Yeah, well, tell me about that.
No, I don't know. I was just trying to fill time while you're looking something up. But I haven't been doing anything. I've been doing Harmontown. We've been playing a little bit of games. It's you can listen to that, see how that's going. It's never going swimmingly.
Yeah,
it's always
that would sort of defeat the purpose of.
Yeah,
you don't want professional D&D. Of course,
you don't want to have easy time.
I was going to say, you don't want professional D&D players, and then I remembered, oh wait, there are those, and they're really entertaining and good at what they do.
Yeah, that could be nice. Some professional D&D players.
Yeah,
I could use that. Yeah, no, I don't know. I haven't been doing.
If only
anything.
You knew like 50 people like that.
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to talk about it. I burnt some bridges, I think. Not on purpose.
What?
I just feel like people don't like me.
That's bullshit. Of course they do.
Yeah, tell that to them.
I would, but they're all hypothetical.
I don't want to burn any more bridges by talking about this further.
Yeah, you're fucking easy there, Mark.
So we want to start with a segment, unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
No, let's roll right into it.
I was out of stuff to talk about, so yeah.
So do you have a name for this segment yet?
We call it... Well, we don't. It's a segment with no name. I was thinking today that we could name the segment, but not like give it a name, like this, the cool, but like just a person's name.
Oh, that's great.
Like, so it would be blank, comma, the nameless segment,
Yeah.
So let's start with that, and then I'll explain what the segment is.
Oh, you know what? Let's do that as the... Okay.
Okay, so then I'll explain what the segment is.
Oh, no, I like what you said. Okay, Calthazar.
Calthazar Bornwind.
Helga Cruciform.
Okay. I'm just going to go with that. So this is a segment we like to call Helga. Okay. I'm going to cut this podcast. Let's start over from the beginning.
Okay.
This is Welcome to Monster Man. Okay. No, this is a segment we like to call Helga Cruciform, the nameless segment. You see?
Yeah, it's getting increasingly badly named.
Hopefully we can just increase the badness of the name as time goes on to prove how good at naming things we are.
Yeah.
Anyway, so to explain, this is a segment where we just riff a bunch of names. Sometimes you got to riff names as a DM, so we're going to riff some names. You can riff some too. Tweet them at us at whatever we're going to have our media accounts.
Helga Cruciform.
Yeah, Helga Cruciform.
All one?
With your names. Yeah, all one word. And that's a reasonably easy word to spell, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It is, though.
It's a good word. I think it means shaped like a cross.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a cruciform crucifix.
Yeah, and Helga, I think, is a derivative of Vulcan originally. I think it's like the guy in the volcano.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I might be wrong.
That could be right.
Who's to say?
Let's say it's right.
Yeah, don't tell me if I'm wrong.
So let's crack into Helga Cruciform, the nameless segment.
All right.
Do you want to start then?
Yeah. Dan Harmon. No, I'm just looking.
How do you think of these things?
I don't know. There's something about the setting.
Dor Roomsby
has legs. Dor Roomsby has the potential to be the NPC that your characters make way more important than you meant to, and then you're 40 sessions later, Dor Roomsby is having like a beautiful deathbed revelation that they are actually a silver dragon, and that they've been, gently guiding the party all along.
Can you imagine if like Dor Roomsby was like a long-running NPC in the campaign, and then at the very end he's like, Dor Roomsby is it's a room with a door in it, and then he croaks, and it's like, oh, it was like Hodor.
Oh,
this whole
yeah,
time it
yeah,
was just the worst Hodor reference.
You really took me down the garden path on there. I didn't know where that was going.
No, I know that's what the executed version of that would be too.
Yeah, and it was on the television program Game of Thrones,
right?
Starring, let's go down the list: Peter Dinklage, Lena Headey, Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
Holy shit! I was like,
those are just the Lannisters. Oh, Charles
Sophie Turner.
Yeah, Maisie Williams, Sean Bean.
The one everyone likes.
The thing is, these
Kit
are actually
Harington,
really good.
go.
Yeah, these are really good NPC names.
That's another thing. I think. Do you write down real names that you hear that sound good? I rarely do it, but occasionally I do.
I do not. I guess I should.
I just like there's the thing is, like, I don't know, in writing and stuff, there's so many people who are like, oh, there go Maggie and Ernie, it's like these are names, but it's like the best names are like, they don't sound anything like names, but they are like, when you hear one, it's like, oh yeah, there goes Gabe Ballerini, It's like, that's a fucking name.
Well, I think there is a fundamental difference between a name and a fantasy name.
Sure.
I like Rex Jolene is a fantasy name, but also a kick-ass country singer, maybe.
Yeah. Or the inspiration for a kick-ass country song. Rex Jolene.
Yeah. So which one of us is going to do that?
You can do it.
All right. Hold on, give me a second.
He's vibing out.
Rex Jolene is gonna sing a song. He started with his own name, so maybe he did it wrong. But when Rex Jolene goes down to the grave, he will find you waiting, 'cause he killed you earlier today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was waiting for people to applaud for some weird reason.
Probably because normally when you record a podcast, there's an audience.
That's so embarrassing to have that be something I was expecting is like an audience reaction just in my day-to-day. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're fucking ruined, man. You're like Mick Jagger. Like, just like completely like expecting like, oh yes, now is the time for people to appreciate what happened.
Gonna be drop kicking a keyboard player next week. I don't know. Dor Roomsby. How about TV? That's not even a name.
No, it's a very cyberpunk name. It would be like spelled TEA, like, and then VEIGH, and it would be like, you fucking get it? Do you get it?
Yeah. What about Whitey Border? See the whiteboard.
There's literally a character like cyberpunk. Have you ever read the fucking Snow Crash?
No.
There's literally a character named YT, and she rides a skateboard.
Hell yeah!
And
she's a Whitey Border.
That's a cyberpunk. That was a weird pull.
So this is just to go to show you that you can really truly riff terrible names, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, just like Neil Stephenson, famous cyberpunk author.
You too can be Neil Stephenson.
He named a character hero protagonist. You can't be more of an asshole than that.
I remember hearing there was a story with that as the protagonist.
It's spelled HIRO.
Of course, yeah, Hiro.
Protagonist is the same.
Hiro Yuki. Is that from Heroes?
Maybe.
Hiro Yuki.
Yeah.
It's definitely a character name. You want to riff a name?
Wasn't his name Hiro Nakamura?
Yeah, that's that one. I'm thinking of a different Hiro Yuki.
I think we might. I don't know how many names. That felt like 100.
What about board game? No, there's not a board game in the room. I'm just.
Are you sure?
No,
there's
not.
One we don't know about.
Razzmatazz Johnson.
He's a lawyer. And he's very no nonsense.
Yeah,
it's in response to his father, who wanted him to be a juggler like him.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna have the old Johnson Razzmatazz. And then he was like, "Father, I'm going to school." This is like, we need a question.
I brought up my phone just to kind of keep things moving, not because we were in a hole.
Yeah, I always bring out my phone when I'm bored.
No,
conversations are going badly.
It's a structural part of the show.
Yeah.
It's the part the fans all love the most.
Yeah, they're on the edge of their seat. Maybe it's their question.
Okay, Medium R asks, as a DM, how do you deal with rules lawyer types? So do you want to maybe explain what a rules lawyer type is, if you know?
A rules lawyer, in my this is anecdotal, no one I've ever played with, is somebody who knows the rules really well, and kind of when a DM or GM says, okay, it's going to happen like this. They're there to pop up and say, oh ho, doesn't the rule book say that grapples have to be handled like this?
Right. They also get in just player conflicts that don't involve the GM sometimes, which is, I don't know. I remember when I, like in my high school days, there were so many times where I was the DM, someone who wasn't looking at the book would make a claim about the rules, another person would dispute it, and they'd just argue. And it's like...
Arguing about facts, man. It's in the book or it's not.
Yeah, you could just look it up. It'll take 5 seconds, and you don't have to do this. And then it would happen every time. It would be so frustrating. And also... doesn't even matter. I'm the fucking DM.
Yeah.
So I already have the answer if you guys shut up.
Rule 0 is that what the DM says goes. I would say if it's for other characters, say like, if you're trying to tell somebody else that they can't play their character, just they shouldn't be doing it. I guess it's how you deal with that kind of person.
Right. As the DM, you should not let other players try and be the authority on what can and can't happen.
Yeah, just a quick hey, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Not making a big deal out of what they're doing. A lot of my advice, I'm starting to realize, is going to be about not escalating, not forcing something into being a situation,
right?
When it's just somebody kind of being a dick without realizing it. This is. I feel like this also applies when people try to tell other people what they should do,
right?
Because especially if you've played tactical RPGs, you're like, okay, well the ranger should get around and do that, and then the fighter should do this, and then I'll cast this spell, and then the rogue will distract. He's like, don't. You can say, hey, what if we?
What's a game plan that we could do?
Yeah, but don't start telling people what to do, and don't tell people how to play their characters. Now, if it's their own shit, if it's their own character, if they're saying, wait, can't I do spell slots? Can't I use this to recover a spell slot? Then it's getting into an agency situation, I feel like.
Right.
What do you think?
I think that, okay, so there's different kinds of problems rules lawyers present. There's the problem with your own authority. They shouldn't be questioning your own authority because the whole premise of the game is that you control the game. So that can be a problem. The best way to handle that is to be all like, hey, I think you might be right. Let's just move on, and then we can circle back when we have some free time and actually check an answer.
Yeah, and the answer is going to be, unless somebody's character is dying, it's not a big deal.
Right, because it's more fun to just play the game than to stop and look things up. And different groups can have different opinions on that. Maybe you love looking stuff up, so that might not be the best advice. But
if you do, and you have 4 other players who also love looking stuff up, God bless you. I sincerely doubt that is the case.
Yeah, and we don't want to play that kind of game. But if you like that, that's fine. But generally, that's like, it's going to be a problem. Then there's the other thing, just players arguing with each other. Both of those things are kind of authority, kind of, I'm not controlling the space, and I'm not making, I'm not like doing my overseeing enough to let people kind of have their own fun.
Yeah.
You're letting people step on it. I've heard the advice, you can maybe have the rules lawyer be the go-to lookup guy. And so if there's anything that happens, you funnel that into, hey, look this up. And so that way they feel like they're doing the thing they like, but they're hopefully doing it in circumstances that aren't causing problems or in ways that aren't causing problems.
Because the interplay of rules is that's a good point. That's what some people really enjoy in the game, is like that it's playing pretend with rules.
Right. For D&D, that's maybe less relevant. For a game like Shadowrun, I think a lot of people really do delight in the minutia of that. That's what I was kind of getting at. And that's not that I truly don't like that at all as a player. I'm not like it doesn't mean that it's not fun. It's just that's my style, but I don't know.
I've had to stop and look things up, and anytime I feel like I'm going to have to stop and look up how like a big thing works, like the first time I DM'd the session I'm running right now, like the first session, somebody wanted to grapple, and I was like, shit, I don't remember how that works. And I looked for like 10 seconds, and I was like, you know what, just make a strength check. They're going to contest that with their strength, and if you succeed, you'll be able to do it. Turned out that was right because it made sense.
A lot of times it's right when you guess. Yeah, when it comes to like spell specifics, like, oh, is this spell is it like will, like, or is it instantaneous duration or stuff like that, I'll just always just make a call knowing it's 100% wrong, because I'm not going to look up entangle again, because to me entangle is just super complicated.
This is why spell cards are so useful.
Oh yeah, spell cards. Get some spell cards.
I before I had spell cards, I wrote everything down and on paper, like how each of my spells worked, and then spell cards are like that, and they're also useful for like, oh, I can look at the different things, and they make them for non-magic using characters too. Like if your fighter has different, there's like a fighter deck that's like got all the different martial actions or whatever.
That's badass.
Yeah, it's great.
Spell cards are great, especially if you're a magic user. I don't like shilling for products just to tell people to spend money. My whole relationship with D&D has been trying to get as much out of as little money as possible since I was a child. But the spell cards are definitely worth the money.
They're really good. They're also a really good DM resource.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I had it was like the first time I was DMing, I had a monster that had spells, and I was like, oh, okay. Rather than because if I have like a boss, I like write, here's what they can do, here's their health, whatever. And I was at the point where I was about to write all their spells, and I was like, wait, what am I doing? I'll just get those out.
That's badass.
Yeah, it's really useful.
Yeah, when I write like a monster, what I'll do is I'll write like HP, armor class, saves, and then I'll just like write down abilities, which I usually only do like 1 or 0, maybe 2 abilities, and then attacks. But it's just like laser eyes, and then a like +6, like 1d8 +3, maybe petrifies, or like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. Spell cards would give you.
I'm
I'm
not going to write down like the monster does not need components to cast this. Like I know that.
Yeah.
Unless it's narratively significant. I guess we're pretty far off this question, but I also feel like we answered it.
Well, I think that hopefully talking about, hopefully stuff like this will be a little bit more interesting than someone. I don't know.
It's a strong enough system, 5e, and a lot of fucking role-playing games, they're a strong enough system that breaking one rule once or getting it slightly wrong is not going to make or break the experience of playing.
Right, and that's the fundamental problem I have with rules lawyers, is to me they're coming from a place of caring about getting something right when I'm just caring about keeping things going and everyone being involved. And so that's kind of my angle, is try and fix it so that everyone's being involved. But again, I don't want to say that you're an idiot if you're a rules lawyer or anything. It's valid. I know the rules too. When I was talking about being like those people arguing about the rules, part of what was frustrating is oftentimes both of those people were wrong about the rules. And it's like, well, if you're gonna care about this stuff, at least get it right, So I can understand the appreciating getting the rules right. That's good. I don't know. Any other thoughts?
Don't tell people that they don't have the material components they need to cast if you're not the DM. And also probably don't even do that if you're the DM, unless it's like a diamond for resurrection. Yeah,
I would. In terms of rules, I think it's probably a bad move to tell another player as a player that they can't do something.
Yeah, that's not. And it's not because it's like, oh, the DM is so important. It's like, this works because when there is a disagreement, there's a go-to referee.
Right.
It is not like, that's what makes it not turn into a fight, because there's a person who we have all agreed is going to make those calls neutrally.
Yeah.
And if you are trying to make those calls for another player, that's not neutral. That you're doing something, and it's not what people have agreed to.
Yeah, just to circle back to what you were originally saying with like saying, oh, tell someone to do something, like, hey, go around the corner and shoot an arrow. Like, I think it's one thing if you like present it as a game plan,
that's great.
In character, like, okay, here's what we got to do. We got to take this out. So you go here, and like, you can say everything you want to do, but that's a far cry from when someone's taking their turn saying, now you run over there and shoot this guy. Unless they're really struggling for not knowing what to do, then that might be something, but generally speaking, that's really the worst thing to do is to tell someone what to do on their kind of turn.
You're right, it does have to, like, the better way to do is like on your turn say, hey, if I cast darkness, can you use Devil's Sight to pick them off?
Yeah,
like, and present it as like, can you do this? But because they might be like, oh, I was going to do something else. Can we do that next turn?
Yeah,
and then you gotta. It's all good. Just like, don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
It's frequently the secret.
Yeah, man. It's just like, oh, well, okay, you guys are doing that. Well, maybe I can distract everyone if I make an illusion dragon over here. How does that sound? And then if they're like, oh, yeah, that would be great, then just go for that. I don't know. Whatever. There's ways. It turns out in a socially awkward game like D&D, being socially graceful is the answer to a lot of problems.
Did you see that White Wolf thing on Polygon?
No.
It was really neat. Can I talk about that for a second?
Please. Yeah, of course.
So like it was a really good article It was like somebody had played a one-on-one session because the fifth edition of Vampires the Masquerade is coming out, and like that's a game where that goes to some places for sure. And the person interviewing, like the White Wolf guy was like, "Hey, some of the stuff in this, is a little bit like in their thing. They like drank someone's blood and then erased their memory, and like because drinking blood is like kind of a sexual thing in Vampire the Masquerade. It's like, hey, this is kind of a weird consent thing. Like they hypnotize them. What are you doing to like address these?" And and the guy was like, "Well, in the book we have like this half a page, but." So you're reading the article and it's like, boy, this is kind of depressing. I hope that they can get this fixed. And then there's a nice addendum at the end of the article. Like, actually, they're adding a complete forward and a compendium about like how to deal with. They're adding a forward about consent and talking to your players, and adding a compendium at the end for like how to make everyone comfortable and what to do if things go wrong, or how to And so it was like, this is great. This is fantastic. That's really great that's how that played out.
Stuff like that is so helpful. I think that, like, I don't know, the more separate rule books I read for RPGs, the more I value that kind of instruction, and the more I find it innovative the way different systems kind of try to instruct players and DMs and stuff that way. Yeah. It's really good.
One of the pieces of advice, and I think this could carry over as a really good piece of advice to like any session, is at the beginning, it's like, hey, at the beginning, talk to your players about, hey, what are you not comfortable with?
Right.
And it gave like a great example that was like, some people might be completely fine with like seeing children killed, but if you get like a domestic violence, that's going to be the thing that really upsets them. And it's like, because it's all based on like personal experience, there's not actually like a
line.
Oh yeah, it's not a gradient that goes from
different.
Like bad to okay to terrible. It's everybody has different experiences.
And you're not talking about like HR sexual harassment stuff, but that sounds like it's directly from like HR sexual harassment policy, is that it's not about like what is or isn't offensive. It's about understanding who you're dealing with and their specific needs and baggage and stuff.
Empathy is a lot of it.
Right. Because sometimes you can say really horrible things and everyone loves it, and sometimes you could say really innocuous things and really offend people, and that's what matters. Is that it's not appropriate for. Anyway, all of this is to say that I just think that there's a lot more attention being paid to stuff like that, and I think it's really valuable and important and empowering, and not necessarily restrictive.
It's great seeing it presented as, here are additional tools that will make you a better DM, and not warning signs, things to watch out for.
Right.
Don't screw up in this way, because that presents it as like, well, as long as I don't do X, Y, and Z wrong, then I didn't do anything wrong, and no one should be upset.
And that's the bad way to think about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, just whatever. And I'm like a prude or whatever, but personally in D&D games, I don't like romantic angles. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. I'm not stopping anyone from doing that.
A lot of people really do. I'm a fan.
I wouldn't stop anyone, but it's like it makes me feel weird. I don't know.
With other players or with characters in the game that you have to play?
With NPCs. Because
I can understand, because you have to be
fake.
them. Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's just like, well, what do you... Yeah, you sleep with the barmaid. Okay.
Well, it's... Okay. I think this might be because I play with a lot of people who do. Specifically barmaids. My girlfriend, Kate Leth, one of her character's traits that she always forms like but it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna sleaze on this barmaid. She forms like long lasting relationships with every barmaid, and like, writes letters to them, and it's a lot of fun. And that's the thing that's like she's got a thing for bartenders.
I don't like, my characters never have any emotional attachments, because it's like I don't want to deal with this. It's like, it just makes me feel weird. And I'm not saying like, and so that's just, I wouldn't want to as a player be like, oh, don't make this, but that's something about me that people might not necessarily recognize as something that makes me feel less comfortable. And so they, it's just like, there's people that have sensibilities.
You can be open about what you don't want to do
at
the table. It doesn't, you're not a computer. You have your own preferences.
Right. But I mean, that's just what I'm saying. I'm just trying to be like, this is an example of completely innocuous stuff. That's a perfect example of,
like that would not even occur to me.
Right. Exactly.
it like there's an obvious like frat bro version of it, like the sleazy gamer stereotype that it's like, oh well, nobody's gonna like that if you're just like, I'm gonna fuck the barmaid. It's
right.
But it's like if you're not comfortable role playing romance. But that's also, I would say that in that situation you could kind of put it in the hands of the players, like, oh, you know, they roll charisma, you know, then you ask them, how do they react?
Right. Well,
like
to be clear, I do it. It's not like I'm not, but it's just like, that was just an example. Cause to me, it's just this weird thing that's always like, I understand it to be standard normal role playing. I don't have a problem with other people. I think it makes perfect sense to be in character to the extent that you're doing scenes like that. But it's just a weird thing for me. That's like, so that's why I brought it up. I mean, I'm a good person.
No, you're fine. I think
no, it's fine.
I think that a lot of people, one reason for that, especially like compared to say 10 years ago, maybe not as much, I think a lot of people are coming to role-playing games for the first time from video games, from like, especially BioWare games where romance that's like one of the first things they advertise or advertise the absence of, and everybody hates it.
Right.
As is going to happen with Anthem. It's fine.
Good.
You know what? God bless them. I know some people who worked on that. They're very nice people.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's just
let us fuck.
It's hard to be with people.
Yeah.
And that's what D&D and most other things are.
Yeah. Should we jump? Maybe we kind of went. Do you want to jump to monsters?
Yeah. So we're gonna roll into the next another segment. Let's do alternate monster lore, huh?
AML.
That sounds gross.
No, it's great.
Amyls nitrate. Like, I don't know. I was thinking like aminal, like animal, but
aminal is good. I like aminal. I like saying the word aminal.
Right, it's fun.
It is. Okay, this aminals, which stands for alternate monster lore.
So, should I pick a monster this time?
Yeah. I think I did.
No, okay. So before we did the show, we were trying to brainstorm, and I thought of it, and then I forgot it, and then I remembered it again. It's owl bear.
Okay, very good.
So owl bears are not a super traditional monster that has a lot of history, but owl bears are these big bear-like things that have owl head and owl feathers and other owl features.
They're a Gary Gygax original.
Right. The original in quotes because I believe they were ripped off from a plastic toy model.
Oh.
Because a lot of monster manual monsters were...
he literally bought a bag of plastic toys from like a dime store.
That were supposed to be like dinosaurs, but were instead just fancy...
Crap.
Yeah,
that's where the rust monster
creatures
came from. Also,
rust monster, owl bear. What else? I think Grick. Is it Grick?
What's Grick? Grick.
No, it's not Grick. There's these ones. Maybe it's just owl bear. There's these other ones that are like bipedal, kind of bird looking. Anyway,
Kinkus. Not Kinkus.
It wasn't. It was like they were in the first monster manual. Whatever. Well, you could tweet at us at Helga Cruciform. If you know what.
No, don't know. You're gonna muddle up the hashtag. We need to
we aren't just using Helga Cruciform.
Is that gonna be the name of our?
No, I just thought that.
Okay.
It's just we have this. It's the perfect segment, and we're just using it for everything. No, okay. So, but tweet at us at whatever if we have a name, if we even release this stuff.
I think we will.
Yeah, no,
I have faith in us.
We're hitting our stride.
Yeah.
So owl bears are
big ass bears with owl features.
Yeah, and they're not smart, right? I think they're smarter than say a bear.
Aren't they? Are they casters, or am I thinking of WoW?
I don't think they're.
I think
casters.
I might be thinking of WoW, where owl bear is a form that druids have.
Right.
Not
yeah.
Druids, something else.
Or maybe bugbears. Those are like big fat goblins.
I know that owl bears are a thing in World of Warcraft that night elves can get. Okay, so maybe these don't have a traditional lore. Maybe this is the problem. Maybe we need to make one. Here we go.
Yeah.
Owl bears.
Okay.
Bear/owl. What if it could be either?
Right. So does it have an intermediary form or does it switch?
I think the owl bear is the intermediary. Wait, can that? Okay, so let's say the owl bear is one form.
Okay.
What if it could switch? So that's like mostly bear based. I think we can all agree that like the threatening thing about an owl bear is not its owl face. It's a big fucking bear.
Yeah, it's a bear monster.
Yeah, it's a bear monster with but what if it was like a really ripped owl with like big bear claws that could just like dive down out of the sky and
yeah. So I guess would it have a muzzle then? Because I think owl bears typically have a beak.
Oh yeah, it would be like an owl with a bear face, and instead of wings, it would have bear claws, bear arms.
Could it fly?
Yeah, because it's magic.
And it has to pump its arms like really fast.
Yeah, it has to flap them really fast.
And that's why it's so fucking built.
Yeah, in fact, no, that's a grotesque image.
What?
I was thinking that like instead of feathers, each feather would be a small articulated bear's arm. So when it like flapped its wings, it would just it would look like hundreds of creepy bear hands.
Yeah, I get how that's gross.
I guess maybe kind of cool though.
I wonder if there's a way to like if they're more feathery but they still are fists, like maybe it would kind of
sort of like a bat maybe. Oh, what if it's got bear arms sticking out, and then it's got it's got it's like a bat wing, like leathery, but it's feathers. And so they're flapping and they glide.
Right.
And
okay.
Then they're also, I think they're about the size of like a bulldog. Mm-hmm. Like they're not as, they should be smaller than owls.
They should be smaller than owls.
Yeah, I think they should be smaller than owls.
Okay, what's smaller than an owl? Like a chihuahua?
I feel like that's
most birds of prey are roughly the same size.
Size of a backpack.
Yeah,
like kind of squat. This is absurd.
This is good. So it's got like
fuck.
Oh my
god! I was just savaged by
an owl bear.
I think it may have been a bear owl.
He destroyed the batteries in our recorder.
Yeah, and then we lost. Nothing. Everything's fine. What did it look like?
So we were just before this all happened. We were just kind of describing. It's the size of a backpack. It's got a bird's body. It's got bird legs. It's got bat wings instead of bird wings. But the arm part of the bat wings are bear arms with bear claws. It's got a bear face.
Yeah.
Does it have a bear head or just a bear face?
Bear face with owl ears.
Okay, bear face with like a great horned owl kind of owl ears, which is kind of like a fur receding to a feathery kind of pattern, I'm imagining.
I feel like this needs like one more thing.
Well, it can clearly absorb electrical energy.
Okay, that's the thing. You know what? It flies up high and it catches
hell
lightning.
Yeah. That's fucking awesome.
It eats lightning
and shits thunder.
Yes. So it does sonic attacks. And it
this is so good.
It all came together. That's its main attack, and it's like you'll be like startled from your sleep by the sound of thunder, which should be 6 miles up, and now it's like right next to you.
Yeah,
deafening
it's just
you
in
and
a tree. Yeah, that's so cool. Like, or you see a weird thing get hit by lightning and then it kind of plummets to the ground, but it pulls out of a dive and just like hits you with a crazy sonic boom and like blasts.
I love it.
Blasts your tent apart.
Like this should be normal. This is how it hunts,
right?
Like, and it normally hunts it's for its size. It would hunt like small rodents and stuff, but it's also very territorial and will this is its defense mechanism. I love it.
That's awesome.
That really came together. I'm glad the power went out.
Yeah. Oh man.
Good job on the absorbed lightning. I love it.
Yeah, because they ate our batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So societally, they're just animals that are territorial predators. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'd say they reproduce by
budding.
Oh yeah.
No.
That's yeah. You know what? I can't see how something this aggressive would go. They'd be pretty rare. Let's say they were a wizard's experiment that was too successful.
Yeah,
like armadillos in Florida. It just they just got loose.
That was my favorite wizard experiment.
Yeah.
Armadillos in Florida. Yeah, no, I think that's good. Anytime anyone says reproduce by, I think of budding. I don't know why.
That's how I went with reproduce by fucking.
Right. That was where your mind was going.
I just realized that Armadillos in Florida sounds like a Piers Anthony book.
It sounds like the name of a Kanye West song.
Oh yeah, it does.
So that was alternate monster lore?
Aminals.
Yeah,
Aminals.
That was Aminals. It's one of my favorite segments.
Yeah, definitely in my top 2.
And I hope it's one of yours.
Does questions count as a segment?
Yeah.
Okay, top 3.
Okay. If you like it, let us know. If you hate it, let us know nicely. I was thinking we should do a segment where we do finally some good feedback where it's like we give the feedback that's like, it doesn't have to be nice, but it's like, do it like this if you want us to listen to you. You know?
Yeah. There we go.
But you guys don't want to hear about that. You want to be loved and entertained, right?
Who doesn't?
Okay, so let's just do one more question, huh?
Yeah. I think we're...
Ooh, I'm so sorry, everybody. As a DM, how do you make all your Elliot N. Gary asks, as a DM, how do you make all of your players feel special but content?
Jesus.
It sounds like that's not a but. Like isn't it special and content?
Maybe the danger is that if they feel too special, they're like, where's my heroic destiny? What is these kobolds are nothing to Ramacles the Thunderborn, son of the Bear Owl.
I'm too content.
Yeah. Special but content. I guess give them narrative hooks. I mean, I feel like Dungeons and Dragons very much plays to making your characters feel special. Don't have them constantly outperformed by other people.
Right. That's, to me, is, I don't know. Like, this seems like a question. Again, I don't think we said it this episode, but the more specific you can get with your questions, the more we can help your specific situation.
Yeah.
Because this seems like a question with a really intense question behind it, but you haven't asked that question. But yeah, special but content. I don't know. I would say, like, give them losses. Like, them, like, it feels like content is like they're too much winning, or they don't feel challenged enough, or they feel like they're unstoppable. So it feels like making them suffer defeats, which is usually best by imperiling NPCs, I would guess. Like, you don't want to take too much shit from your players. That can be very hurtful to, like, be like, oh, your good sword just got stolen or whatever, you know. So
when you said take too much shit, I thought meant like
put up
like
with
they
BS.
were like they were being shitty to you. And it's like, no, you don't want to do that. But,
no, you don't.
But it's easy when you can just kill their character.
Right. Yeah. I personally don't like killing characters. I think it's a flaw. I think I should be better at killing players, but I don't like it. You can kill players to make them feel like they're not.
They'll definitely think that character was special when they're gone.
Right. Yeah. He was so special he couldn't play him anymore.
Make their character ascend to godhood and make them roll a new level 1 character.
That would be... Yeah. It would be special but content. You'd be content to play a level 1 character. I don't know, man. This is a hard question. You're really putting our balls to the bandsaw.
Jesus Christ. That's very evocative.
Yeah. It seemed too heteronormative, but we do have balls, to my understanding.
Yeah, I got some. I won't be specific about how many.
Yeah.
All right, let's get one more.
Yeah, sorry, man. If you don't like that, you can be more specific, and we'll like try harder.
Yeah, tell us.
And because we want to. The whole point is we actually do want to help.
Yeah. So what do we got? Another one.
How do you start off a Sir Jack of all trades asks, how do you start off a campaign in an interesting way? At least more interesting than you are all in a tavern.
Skyrim, baby, dragon.
You're a prisoner?
No, yeah, you're there's a dragon attacks. There you go. Just like there's a lot of like a big monster attack.
Let me tell you a story. It's a bad story. There's a game called Wild Arms for PlayStation 1, and the whole, like, there's a huge chunk of the game that's just kind of introduction, and then you get to this one scene, and then the credits roll, and that has inspired almost all of my DM startups, because it's like, what happens is you're at a festival, and then, like, the sky starts cracking, and, like, crumbles of the sky starts falling from the ground.
Wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
You mean like the first episode of Harmon Quest?
I mean, it's similar, sure.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's good. I mean,
it's definitely similar.
Yeah.
Because, like, in this one, it's like there's these demon guys, and I don't think they come through the crack in the sky. I think it's just a portent, and then they appear, and then they steal a bunch of golems, and then the whole kind of plot surrounds, like, oh, they're going to use all these golems to bring around the world collapse. So it was literally inspired by that, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's a festival. Shit goes south. Now they got to fucking save the day. There's these bad guys. Like, that was 100% just ripped.
Yeah, I feel like a common thing in D&D is go investigate. So you're told to go investigate something. Mm-hmm. The two ways you can start off are, hey, here's your characters. They're going to go investigate something. This is how the starter. This is like the Lost Mines of Fen Delver or whatever starts off.
Right.
This is how a lot of shit starts off. Or they can just be attacked by monsters and then go investigate what the thing is.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the risk there is if you want the threat to be credible, they are going to have to be attacked by very weak monsters.
Right.
So that might undercut the drama a little bit. But maybe like that's what I'm saying, like dragon tears out of the sky, or there's a lot of other things. There's krakens, there's frog hemoth. You can make your own monster that you won't have to stat up for a long time because it's the boss of the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, I just like I like fun things to be happening, and then shit goes south. Like when on a home D&D game with Dan and when it was Aaron and stuff when we were playing, they started on a guild recruiting festival. It was like, this is the day of the town. It's like, this is a working town. All the guilds come through and they try to see who's man enough or whatever, who can live up to being a member of the guild. And so everyone gets all these guild affiliations that build NPC contacts that will follow them for the rest of the game. And then,
that's fun.
And then like in the middle of it all, the ground breaks open, Dalkir swarm out, and then a bunch of mind flayers start fucking shit up. And it's like, well, we can't do anything about any of these guys, but like someone needs help. And so then it's just kind of like, what
those
just
are the
happened?
tasks. Yeah. Like this one person is being attacked by an Ithalid or whatever. And
but it's just, oh shit, what just happened? And so like that to me is a good direction, is what just happened, because of course they want to know what just happened. Something just happened.
Yeah. Investigate something happening, make the thing that they're investigating. The game that I was talking about, that Rich is running for us, it starts off with a missing cow, and it's like sort of charmingly low stakes. And then I don't want to spoil it, but like a hole gets torn in like the universe, and like a dark cow comes out, and it's very good. It's like you can start off mundane and then rapidly escalate things. That can be silly too.
It's just like it's a direction, because a fight is a direction, but it's a direction that can go in a lot of different directions. But like if you just say, look over there, they're going to go over there.
Starting with combat may actually be a mistake now that I'm thinking about it, because it's forcing your players to play their characters as like it's forcing them to like, especially if they've never played D&D before.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking about, because so many people I play with, it's the first time they've ever played.
Yeah.
Hey, here's how, you have to know how to move and fight and do all this stuff when you don't even really know what your deal is yet. I guess you can inhabit it, but it's hard to say.
I wouldn't start with combat if it were me. I remember a new DM was DMing what I think is Ruins of, what is
Lost Mines of Phandelver.
Lost Mines of Phandelver.
It's from the starters kit.
Yeah, I think that's what we started, and it was the wagon and then goblins attack.
Yeah, that's that classic scenario.
And then that just like, I don't know. Because to me, who cares? Like, goblins attack. That's what they do. I know that in the adventure, then this one goblin was suspicious or something.
He's got a map or something.
But it's like, I'm sure fucking goblins attacked this caravan.
That always seemed a little crazy to me, to be honest.
Right.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. It seemed crazy to me that they're going to attack the caravan. They're going to attack you, but one of them has a map back to their own mine.
Yeah, and also who cares? I was escorting some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like there's in that scenario, there are all these reasons not to care about the things that you're supposed to then immediately care about, and it's like, why are we setting this up?
The question you should always ask is, why are the players going to care about this?
Right.
Because they'll go against your expectations. I threw a thing at my players. They were a level 3. They had just gotten to level 2, and I was like, I'm going to throw this challenge rating 10 monster at them.
Right.
And then they're going to run to the car and try to get away. They do have a car. And they didn't do that at all. They actually fought it, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to get killed. So I had to completely bullshit. I had to start and it ended up being more interesting. Like parts of its body started fighting against itself, and I ended up liking it a lot more than. And it was good because I hadn't actually prepared for what they were going to do next.
Yeah,
so I hadn't written the stuff. I don't know what I would have done.
That's one of the most uncomfortable spots, to be all like, I got to either fill time or figure out something really quick.
I have got to get ahead because I've been playing lately. I've got this session and I got nothing.
Yeah.
I have a vague idea that they're going to go to this other place, and it's almost worse that I have the idea because I'm not going to say, okay, we have to stop. I'm going to be like, I can do this, and it's going to be bad.
Yeah, and then it'll be like, now I have to explain all this bullshit that never was supposed to exist.
I'm going to lead with the details before I describe the thing.
Yeah, the players will never recognize that a monster is not supposed to be killable. They'll be like, well, why would they do this? It's not a video game with an unbeatable monster. It's Dungeons and Dragons. It's not. Yeah.
It's always the cinematic.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah. I wish there was a way to better establish stuff like that. It's like, this is supposed to be like storytelling trope. It's not supposed to be like,
You're suddenly in chains, I think is the answer. Magical chains encircle you. But then you've got a rogue who has 20, whatever lock picking, and
gets kind of railroady.
They should be able to do things, and
it's tricky. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. I think it does, right?
Yeah.
I think we gave
what was it?
Gave a lot of information. I don't know. I deleted it. No, it was about what's better than starting in a tavern, which is, I think we gave some, and nothing specific.
Ain't nothing wrong with a tavern. Sometimes people want to start, if they haven't played a lot, people might want a classical experience.
It can be very fun to start in a tavern.
Also, what if the tavern is just, they're actually in someone's dream?
Yeah, then you wake up.
Then they have to fight their way out of the dragon's dream.
Yeah, the only tavern was inside you all along, man.
That's not a bad hook.
Fight out of a dragon's dream?
Yeah, like the dragon is dream. I guess it's just Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
That's fine, though. We could do that.
Yeah.
Let's just do a D&D game of that. I want to do a D&D game that's just the plot of Final Fantasy Tactics. I think that would be fucking awesome.
I couldn't, with a gun to my head, tell you what the plot of Final Fantasy Tactics is right now.
I'm rereading Final Fantasy Tactics, the game script.
Sure. I bet it's a lot shorter than the experience of playing the...
Yeah, well, the thing about Tactics is, you have to grind for most of your playtime of the game. So, you're not doing the story.
And it's all random missions, right? It's not like Tactics Advance when they, have, interesting side missions.
Yeah, no, none of the side missions are interesting, no.
Yeah, I think that's what... Oh, that and the fact... I was coming from Tactics Advance, which I could play while watching TV, and I was like... This isn't gripping me enough to for it to be the only thing I'm engaging with right now.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's one of my favorite games, but it's very esoteric.
I think that's fair. That'll work.
What's the thing is not easy to jump into?
Esoteric is fun. Obtuse.
Obtuse feels like it. Yeah. Anyway, well, so that's us, and that's this, and that was so. Yeah. I'm so sorry that I'm bad at podcasting.
No, we did a good job.
You're welcome for Cohen being so good at podcasting.
No, babe in the woods.
Let's see. I'm on Twitter at the Sixler.
At Skullmandible.
At Skullmandible.
I recently started selling my handwritten tweets again. So if I'm still doing that by the time you hear this, you're welcome to buy one if that's something that is compelling to you.
Support Cohen. Support me, but support Cohen. You can't support me at the moment. So if you support us, you're supporting Cohen by supporting Cohen.
There we go.
What else? Harmontown. Check out Safe Space if you want. I don't care. But that's all. So let us know what you think. If you like it, if you don't like it, things you do like, things you don't like. I don't know. I truly want to hear what people have to say about Dungeons and Dragons, about DMing, about this podcast. I think that's part of one of the interesting things is just to understand, and hopefully we can kind of level up our skills too. So yeah. So I guess that'll do it from us. Until we come up with a good outro.
Hey guys, it's me, Spencer. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at mastermanualpod. Email us at mastermanualpod@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook, Master Manual.
Until we roll again. God, that is awful. No.
And until we come up with a good outro, I guess we'll just say goodbye. Yeah. Right?
All right, let's roll out.
Let's roll out.
That's just Transformers.
That's good. I mean, that's better. It's fine.
Yeah.